Michael Coates is here, the co-founder of Combat Pest Control, a company that, as you know, was set up to help military veterans. But he's brought with him Brian Wood, the holder of a military cross, a former colour sergeant in the Princess of Wales Royal Regiment, who was caught up also. Well, actually, we'll talk about that in a minute, because I have heard your interview, Michael Coates, with Brian Wood, and it's part of a new podcast that you're putting together to draw attention to precisely the sort of issues that combat stress addresses. And because I've listened to the episode featuring Brian, I know quite a bit about your story, and it's incredible. So what I'm going to do now is ask you to rate him as an interviewer.
I'll give him 5 stars out of 5 stars.
Why is this way of telling your story so important?
Because I think it's very current. Podcasts are on at the moment, and I just think it is a great platform for soldiers to kind of get their experiences, whether it be kind of traumatic experiences, battle experiences, or just kind of speaking, and just letting something out, because a pod can be done kind of anywhere really, and you don't feel pressured on speaking to someone who you don't know or you're unsure of. So kind of just doing it with a mate, kind of it nurtures so much out of you, and you kind of have verbal diarrhea, and you just kind of continuously talking.
It did feel like an unburdening or an uncorking when I listened to it, in a way that I wouldn't be able to get you to do now in the studio, because there's too many distractions and stresses and pressures.
Absolutely.
And some of the stories that you tell, some of the stuff that you share, you were at the Battle of Danny Boy. Let's just say that as a result of what you did in that battle, you got a military cross. And then it's when you got back, it's the way you talk about trying to get back into your family life, it's the way you talk about PTSD, and very current as well, of course, is your experiences at the hands of Phil Shiner, the lawyer who made accusations against British soldiers and was subsequently struck off. Michael, I mean, I don't want to blow smoke up your fundament, but you've never done this before, and I do it for a living, and yet in the space of an hour, you managed to cover so much territory that I came away feeling drained. Did you enjoy it?
It's been, from my military career, my fire service career, and my career in business, this is the thing I've been most proud of. It is draining, and every episode that we've done so far has really left me kind of emotionally drained. But it really inspires me to do it again and again and again. So many people are reaching out to us, and actually the draining thing, not the draining thing is, but the emotional ties that with people that are then contacting us about their issues, and just going, you know what, this is the first time I've spoke about feeling suicidal, or this is the first time I've spoke about having or feeling really low, and I'm glad now I'm not the only person that's felt like it, especially when you've got people like Brian, who's won the military cross, and he'll be too embarrassed to say it, but he's also probably the only person on the planet that's ever saved the life of a Victoria Cross winner as the person's winning the Victoria Cross. I mean, this guy's amazing. Yeah. So for people like him to speak up about it, and the other guys that we've had on, it's I love it,
and that I can tell you do, and it is I know that the word hero sits uncomfortably on your shoulders, Brian, but if somebody like you can talk about the stresses of PTSD, then it becomes you separate the condition from any perception of frailty or weakness or vulnerability. If somebody with your service record can own up honestly, and it's even the wrong language I'm using, there's nothing to own up about, that implies guilt, but that's the problem that I'm describing, and that's why I think one of the things I was troubled by listening to it was the involvement in the allegations of war crimes that you got caught up in, because it was only this weekend, wasn't it, that a lot of MPs signed a letter to Theresa May pleading with her to end what they call the legal witch hunt of army veterans.
Yeah, it's punishing, James. I can't really describe sort of trying to deal with the aftermath of war is difficult enough. War is brutal. I signed because I love my country. I'm patriotic. I want to make a difference for this great nation. So the right thing to do was follow my father's footsteps and really go and make a difference. To then the MPs or the government make this decision to go to foreign fields and fight. We absolutely do that because we're British soldiers, and as a frontline soldier, you don't question it. You get on with it, and you kind of get amongst it with your fellow soldiers to then fight a harder battle on UK soil to clear my name from all of this tarnish was devastating and brutal, and it really affected me. I was on you touched on it with kind of, you know, speaking about the effects and your headspace, and it took me 8 years. I never say it was 8 years too late, it was 8 years too long, but I did it, and now I can really express that for doing it. I'm in such a better place with not only myself now and my headspace and knowing how to cope with it, more importantly my family, because it was devastated, smashed through these shyster lawyers who have got no credibility to me, you know, in that courtroom, and cross-examining me and really putting pressure on my decision-making, my values, everything that I stand for, which I've been brought up by my father and also by the military, which were embedded in me. To be on the dock, I get even emotional about it now.
Of course you do.
But it was punishing, and it's just where do we draw the line? You know,
well, I mean, they want to draw the line on some sort of time limit, don't they? A time bar on bringing ancient claims against veterans, and anybody who's unclear about why this is a very important mission that a powerful group of MPs have embarked upon could do a lot worse than listen to Declassified, presented by Michael Coates. 3 episodes in. It sounds like he's been doing it all his life. Makes me sick. And the first episode features Brian Wood MC. You're also writing your book at the moment. Have you finished it yet?
I've finished. I'm just proofreading.
When did you finish it?
Just.
What, like last week?
Yeah, so I got my proof copy
I've got a chapter and a half left of mine. It's not going to be as exciting as yours. But when are we expecting that to be published?
It's just been actually moved forward today, so I just got a note from my publishers saying it's going to now be released in February.
Fantastic.
But it's delayed.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why it's delayed, but it's for a very good reason and really exciting.
Gosh.
So yeah. Watch this space.
Well, we will. We'll talk in February, and you can get hold of it. Tell people, Michael, where they can get hold of the Declassified podcast.
On all the major kind of platforms. You can follow us on Twitter at Declass Podcast and Facebook as well. And the main thing, I'll really just wrap it up. You know, PTSD is not a weakness; it's actually a memory issue. Episode 4 will really go into that as well with a psychiatrist that we've got on. And just speak. If you've got a problem, just speak. #it's okay to say.
Thank you very much.